Well, good afternoon, good morning, good night. We're happy that you chose to log on and check out this week's podcast of Wisdom on Wednesdays with Ray. And I'm Ray, and I'm excited that you all have been corresponding with me through the comments and sending encouraging words through text messages. I appreciate that. I'm still leaning on you, friends, to help us get our subscriptions up, help us get the word out about Wisdom on Wednesday, help us to continue to grow this channel so we can continue to impact more lives. So I pray that you've been impacted positively. I pray that you've been impacted in a manner in which you're thinking about some things in a different light. Again, the premise of our channel isn't necessarily that I'm the wisest man who's ever lived. That's Solomon. But we want to be sure that I have an opportunity to share with you some of the missteps I took, to share with you some of the guidance that I didn't take heed to, and how I became wise by making mistakes, owning those mistakes and adjusting from those mistakes. So just like any other Wednesday, today I want to give you a slice of wisdom that actually has been very beneficial in my life. And I aspire to continue to do what we're going to talk about today. So wise people have to always make certain that you have a true understanding of your circle of influence. We are all influenced by the people that we keep around us. But today I want us to make certain that we know why we have people around us. You see, the people that you keep around you are the people that can tell you your future. The people that are around you are the people that will always remind you of your past. The people around you will be the same people that will stay in the same tax bracket as you. The people around you are the people who believe the way you believe. You see, you can say that you're not like the people that you're around, but it's true. The people that you hang with are a reflection of who you are. The people that model the behaviors that you may not like about yourself, they're basically a reflection of who you are. So wise people, when we look at and we measure and we assess our circle of influence, the circle is just what it's called. The people who are around us are the people who have the power, the people that have the opportunity, the people that have the persuasive words to influence our decisions. They influence our thought processes. They influence our behaviors. They influence the way we treat our spouses. You see, you can have people in your life that don't appreciate their blessings. And when you spend enough time with those people, you'll come home and you'll start considering those things that you once were grateful for now don't seem as important. You see how this works? Sometimes if a person's not happy with their relationship and you take too much of that into your spirit, you'll start looking at your situation like you're not appreciative of the person that you've sacrificed with all these years. Your circle of influence are people that should have the same goals, aspirations as you. There are some people who have aspirations to get in better shape. They may already be in shape. They may have met their fitness goals of last year, but they've hit a plateau. If you want to go deeper, if you want to go wider, if you want to challenge yourself greater, you got to make certain that a few of the people in your circle of influence are people that have achieved some of the personal, physical goals that you have for yourself. You see, if you have PR goals, you have to be around somebody who meets their goals on a regular basis. If you've looked at your spreadsheet, if you're trying to balance your checkbook and you know you have people in your life who are really good at balancing their checkbook and that's not one of your strengths, it's important to keep people around you that are better than you in several areas of your life. I know we've always been told to make certain that there's somebody that we can pour into when somebody pours into us. That's absolutely correct. But you have to consider the people that are speaking to you are speaking into your consciousness. The people that are speaking to you are speaking to your belief system. The people that are speaking into your life have an opportunity to change the direction of your life. That's why it's very important who you choose to spend the rest of your life with. You see, your circle of influence has to start with your wife or with your husband. You see, if you pick somebody who's not designed for you, I'll say it differently. If you choose to spend time with somebody that on the outside it looks special, but on the inside it's sour, you may have somebody who's speaking into your life and you can ruin your life. I heard a saying a long time ago and I found it to be true. that many people make amazing plans in the boardroom. But if you don't have the right person speaking to you in the bedroom, all of those plans you made in the boardroom will all go out the window. You see, because the bedroom has far more influence than the boardroom. You have to make certain that the people that are in your space, the people that are speaking to you, the people who are talking to you about life decisions are people that you want the best for yourself from. I want to make sure we understand that the people that are around you can offer the best that you want for yourself. This isn't an opportunity for us to talk about being perfect people or making sure that everybody around us has a 850 credit score. That is not the point of this message. But the point is that we all need a collage of people around us who help us get to those goals that we want. Maybe somebody in your circle is a person who doesn't mind running and you don't want to run because you hate running, but it's a personal goal of yours. Maybe that's somebody who can speak into your life to help you reach that goal. Maybe it's somebody in your life who's been through a terrible marriage, somebody who's been divorced. Sometimes some of the best advice can come from people who failed before because they know what not to do. You see where this is going? That the people that you keep around you are the people that's going to influx your day. You see, if you keep people around you that are always down, if you keep people around you that don't have no goals, no aspirations, guess what's going to happen to your goals and your aspirations? That's right. They're going to be pushed to the side because the people around you aren't speaking the same language as you. But if you want to go deeper in the word, if you want to go higher in your relationship with God, find somebody that you know, not necessarily perfect. Again, we want to make sure we reiterate that. Not somebody who's perfect, but somebody who pursues God. Somebody who wakes up early, who wants to make certain that they meet God. Somebody who doesn't mind saying that I made a terrible mistake and I repented and the Lord forgave me. Those are the people that you want around you because their relationship with God isn't necessarily for show. They don't mind telling you about mistakes and about the goodness of God, how he has forgiving power. You see, friends, you want people around you that know who they are. You want people around you who are grounded. Not grounded in success, not grounded in these earthly treasures, not grounded in how everything has worked out in their lives. You need some people around you that said, I took a position and I don't think I prayed about it properly. I got in a relationship and I think I moved a little too fast. That maybe I did something that I was in haste, but I learned the lesson. And I just want to share with you, not to share with you to scare you, but allow you to take some information and evaluate it for yourself. You see, we need people in our lives who aren't trying to run our lives, but people who don't mind sharing their experiences. And then we can chew up the meat and spit the bones out. That was one of my best opportunities when I was in the Army, that when we did road marches, you see, road marches were where our group will walk for 20 to 27 miles and we will have a rucksack on our back weighing between 75 and 90 pounds. So it's basically was everything we need to train in the field for 30 to 45 days. And so we would walk, and it was very, very daunting to know that you were walking down a road and you had trucks riding by you and they were empty. As you mentally walked and as you mentally took pictures of empty trucks that you and all your buddies could easily get in the back. And why do we have to walk when we could ride? A valuable lesson that I learned as we did this on a regular basis is that there's nothing too hard for me if I have the right people around me. I'll say it again. There's nothing too hard for me when I have the right people around me. You see, when I had buddies on the other side of the road and they didn't hear me over there cracking jokes or saying something silly, they knew that I was fading. And I had people who were able to remind me of the last road march that we finished. So when my friends recognized that I was fading, they had the power and they had the consciousness to remind me of when I finished before. And when my buddies would fail and I saw them falling out and they got off to the side of the road to take their boots off or possibly to change their socks, there's nothing like not having the energy to keep going, but having a friend that doesn't mind stopping to help you change your situation. I had friends that would come by and help me change my socks. I had friends that would go into my rucksack and get powder, anything that I needed so that I could finish. You understand, friends? You have to have people around you who recognize what your goals are. And what your friends will do is they'll find a way to help you meet those goals. They'll find a way to encourage you. They'll find a way to mend your wounds sometimes. Sometimes you need friends that'll listen to you cry. Those are people of influence. Those are people that you can count on. Those are people that will allow you to be yourself around them. And friends, you can't be anybody but yourself. So in your circle of influence, as you evaluate as I speak, is there somebody in your space that's just taking up your time? Is there somebody in your space that every time you see their name on your caller ID, you get anxiety? Is there somebody in your space that whenever they pose a question to you, you're thinking or wondering if it's really authentic, or are they just trying to be nosy? You see where I'm going, friends? You're not going to have perfect people around you because we're not perfect. But if you have the opportunity to evaluate the people who are sucking your energy, making you dry, if you have the opportunity to evaluate the people who are never adding to you, but always subtracting, it's time for you to promote them to the other side of the street. It's time for you to politely say, I'm not kicking you to the curb, but I just can't have you on the same side of my street. When I walked on those road marches, I understood that I had a task that was larger than the energy that I could afford. So what I would do when I walked and I felt like I couldn't make it any further and my friend's voice were out of reach, what I would try to do is to make my mind understand that I had to take my mind off of what I couldn't do, and I had to put my mind on something that I could do. You see, we had these freeze-dried meals called MREs. And as we would walk, I would take my MRE and I would break it down, and I would put all the contents of the MRE into my cargo pockets. This meant it was easy access for me to reach and find something that I needed while I was struggling. So I made sure that I had something near me that I could reach out for, and it could give me something to take my mind off of what's hard. So I would reach into one packet and I have some dried fruit, and I think about that dried fruit for several miles. And then when that changed and the energy went out of my body and I was back thinking about this long walk, I'd take some spaghetti. Nope, not the type of spaghetti that you would say, good. The type of spaghetti that you only gonna eat when you're hungry. And I would digest that spaghetti and it would take me for a couple of more miles. And I would find my pockets getting empty as I continued on walking on this long road march. But guess what, friends? I only had to reach into my pockets for my circle of influence when I couldn't make it. But when I reached and I couldn't find anybody, I only had a couple of miles to go. So just because you have the right people in your circle and you can reach out to them when you need them, that doesn't mean that you don't have to do any work. It doesn't mean that you don't have to have your own discipline. It doesn't mean that when they're not available, that they're not good people. All it means is that your circle of influence are people that can only help you for a quarter mile, people that can only help you for a mile, people that can only help you for a half a mile. You see, there are some people that come into our lives for seasons. And when they come into our lives for seasons, we got to appreciate why they're here. If they come to add value, we thank God. If they come to hurt us deeply, we learned how to not let that happen again, and we thank God. You see, when you reach out for somebody, sometimes many of us can't go further because we've been rejected for so long, or we reach into that pocket and nobody reached back. I want to encourage you today that maybe you're that person that's been helping people all along. Maybe you're that person that's going to be available to help people when they have no more hope. Maybe you're that person as you evaluate your circle of influence. As we spoke about the exterior, but the greater question before we close, who are you in someone else's life? How do you influence the people in your life? Do you have a positive word, or are you complaining all the time? Are you somebody that can encourage somebody to make the next step? Or do you find yourself being jealous or envious of those people that look like they're ahead of you? So this goes both ways, wise friends. We can't just look for people to add value to our lives. We also have to evaluate who we are and ask the question, am I somebody's important peg in their circle of influence? That's my word for today on Wisdom on Wednesday. I pray that's encouraging to you. I pray that you can evaluate yourself and your circle of influence and find out what's needed and what's not necessary. Have yourself a wonderful day. a great week, and God bless you.